At the last pick, they can go Harry.
I literally invented one.
Oh, they get rid of the chip on this time round. They
Chip
don't
and
wanna
Tig.
get-
They can ban the Chip and Tig.
You're right.
The Tigreal, yeah.
Get rid of both of those, and then you're starting to look. I'm thinking from the side of NLP Flash, whether or not priority is going to be important here. Because yes, High Loss is able to kind of clear waves, but I would imagine that they probably want a better matchup for the EXP and focus more towards that gold side of the map. Because even when you are playing Beatrix, you do need to get that first item to at least force priority and then invade.
That's the beauty of them being on red. They don't have to show that yet. They can put the Beatrix on red 4, and then ask Twisted Minds, make my day. Go ahead. We'll win with red 5.
Alternative option, you pick your gold 4, pick a surprise roam as 5th.
Exactly, because you don't know where the Hylos is going.
Yeah. Still maximize the flex option. So taking away Vanix picks, remember the Granger is still an option here for NIP Flash if they want to.
Because even if Vanix ends up with a Moskov, that's still okay.
Yeah.
Actually, no, there's a lot of answers in the gold lane as of right now. I do feel like Coach Larry is probably thinking like, should I get rid of the Granger? That way I can guarantee that NIP Flash are not going to be playing like a hard chase composition. You can't run away from that.
Yeah, because you can play dive then suddenly. It's more dangerous than the Nathan who has to wait like 3 or 4 items.
Yep.
With the Granger, you're like, as long as I'm getting my stacks on time.
Yep.
There's a Chip and Tig.
Oh, if they want a strong team fighting centric composition, they can kind of risky, but a core trio of Carmilla, Jushin, and Alpha can distribute damage very well for early to mid team fights.
Ooh,
That's spreading it
good.
out.
Yeah, spreads it out well.
That spreads it out pretty nicely as well.
XP Carmilla.
A roam Carmilla paired with the Jushin.
Well, you can toss up.
Yeah, toss that up too.
I feel like at this point you don't want to show what your gold laner is supposed to be. I think at this stage it's either you lock in the Granger, show it early, or just maintain, show the double flex so that at least you're telling them, hey, mid lane priority can be fought for. It's going to come at attacks, but at least it gives you an opportunity, a chance to at least fight for it.
Team is picking.
If NIP Flash don't go for the very obvious picks, if Twisted Minds aren't careful, they might find themselves on the tail end of a Melissa pick.
Oh, would Melissa work in this?
Or Ixia.
Or Ixa, any of those two surprise backliners.
Yeah, Twisted Minds just got rid of the good mage, range, and dive. I'm not so sure if, Coach Lyric and Coach Dali didn't want to open that can of worms.
Vengeance is
They still go for the Moskov. So they're forcing Twisted Minds. They go into the default idea that we set up as the very first plan A for NIP Flash. Take away the Moskov from Sano.
Yep.
Now what does Sano play? He will be forced to play something different.
This one's kind of tough. Do you want the extra mobility? Are you thinking about like scaling? I mean, Irithel is still an option. It's not the worst into the Moskov at the very least, but looking at how NIP Flash are not really going to go, they're not going to go flank you at the very least. They want to go take you on head on.
Exorcist of the Shadow at your service.
That's a voice line that... Okay, Granger. All right. And Gata Gacha. Good distribution, lots of... A good amount of magic. Okay, damage profiles are okay for Twisted Minds.
Man,
Not as good a draft as 1, though. Game 1?
Yeah.
That was a better low-yi draft, in my opinion.
I agree, but at the same time, Twisted Minds have been kind of forced into this corner, right? They have to deal with this giant battering ram coming in from NIP Flash, and now the question is, what kind of ornaments do I want to put on the battering ram?
How big of an engine?
So this is going to be... They're going to decide on the flex. They can
just go glue at this point. They just need bodies to block.
Yeah, I feel like
Vanix and keep going.
if they have a Roman EXP that can both pack Revitalize, would be very good for them considering they have a Jushin in the mid.
I think that'll be okay, but even so, I feel like... What?
Oh, I told y'all. I was feeling it at the very start of the series. Get Akihiro-san back on his signature jawhead.
I gotta give it to you.
JPL on the JH.
I like the drafts. I just hope this is going to be a very good game number 3. The winner goes to knockouts.
A single game between the knockout stage and the hellish finale of the Swiss stage in M6. Mirko, your thoughts?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, right? The Jawhead, it was a surprise. Was it a welcome one? Yeah, we definitely welcomed the Jawhead surprise from JPL. but it's gonna get them the game. I was thinking, all right, with the Alpha, Juicin, and Moscow, maybe they need a bit of damage, so that kind of covers the grounds of the more damage that they need. Twisted Minds, though, they have a whole lot of ways to stop the Jawhead from doing what the Jawhead likes to do.
But they gotta figure which ways are gonna be the most effective here, because this is now a best-of-1 series. Winner moves on to the knockout stage. A loser moves on to the finale of the Swiss stage, where they will face the toughest opponent here in M6. It's gonna be Twisted Minds versus NIP Flash.
Welcome to the land of Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. We started this as a best of 3, and it seems the best of 1 just always comes back, you know? Always comes back to hunt both of these teams. Cortese's got to be careful here on the Juicin. Yep, you can afford to actually take these trades early on the Juicin, especially if you go Brave Smite. But still, you got to put a lot of respect onto Cuffin and this Lo Yi. We saw how effective Cuffin was at just getting really good diversions to place the Roamer Troll into very select places, but also on top of that, Cuffin's just been great on getting the yin-yang reactions, and that's why we see him go for Lethal Ignition. I think, again, there's a lot of different emblems for mages to go for Lo Yi. Some go for Impure Rage, but this is, I think, the comfort for Cuffin, dealing more damage.
Yeah, and that's why we see Cuffin going for that penetration emblem as well. I think it's precisely because of this priority to damage and causing pressure in the mid lane that NIP Flash wants to ensure they're able to get mid lane priority, right? We are seeing a lot of mobility emblems being picked up on JPL, on Cortese, even a little bit on Diablo, because the more they can rotate, the more effectively they can play around a mid duo of Jawhead and Zusin, right? That is a lot of displacement that they can use to really mess with Twisted Minds. And based on what we've seen throughout this series, Twisted Minds is a team that likes to play a typical formation.
Ejector Flicker, Hades, Spear of Alpha Hoda, unable to go for the blink. Diablo gets the kill. Just stabs him with the spear or whatever the Hylos holds. NIP Flash, first blood, Turtle Prio.
A great information there gained by JPL, knowing that Hoda would be in that brush, and taking out the enemy jungler for the first turtle is excellent.
Troll knocked up by the ejector. The Glorious Pathway will lock him down. Troll should be dead again. It's the second kill in this game for Diablo on the horse.
If you personally ask me, a Zeus and Jawhead duo is one of Twisted Mind's worst nightmares. This is a lineup that wants that front to back, loves the 5-to-5 man-to-man team fight, and is very good at holding their position and counter-engaging. But if the opponent just throws one of your teammates to another country, it's very difficult for you to be able to respond, right? Visas take a lot of time. So because of that, NIP Flash are able to accelerate the engagement. They're going the opposite of what happened in Game 2.
Troll again caught. That's an ejector. This time it was with a unstoppable force. Great reads on the map by JPL. Man, Troll can't do anything. Every single time he gets tossed up, he gets tossed up to Hades, the guy who can actually shred him down.
We know that Gator Kacha is typically able to tank a lot of DPS in the early stages, especially with Revitalize, but that usually depends on him being able to create the engagements in the first place. And JPL is not giving him that space. Every single time he walks into a brush, he's now worried, is the Jawhead there?
Hey, this is a horse with 2 kills. Oh, re-engage Glorious Pathway. Hoda trying to go with the ultimate to dash away, but man, you don't go for the horse, not now. Diablo's the one that's unkillable in this game.
Very strange decision by Twisted Minds. There is no way that duo of heroes can take down a Hylos in the first place, let alone even try to bait out the Revitalize. And you don't know where their backup is going to be. Troll is not able to open up the map. So you never know where Hades could be hiding either. There is no reason for Twisted Minds to be trying to force engagements right now. And that's actually kind of bad for them, because the more map pressure they give away to NIP Flash, the easier it's going to be for their opponents to actually accelerate the mid game and not allow Sano to pick up the stacks he needs on this Granger.
And, oh, JPL, I think he spots that out. He knows there's a diversion coming in, but they just don't know where. Oh, Vanix gets caught! Diversion from the back. Troll gets the kill. Vanix is down. Prio perhaps swifting, changing. Sanji bring it out. AOG and Picasso for the Spear of Alpha now to be caught in the midst of it all. It's still going to be Troll probably revitalized, and Hades will be caught in it all. Still able to get in and slashing it down. JPL will fall. Hades caught in the Death Sonata. Sano gets a shot from downtown. That's a 2-for-1 special. Twisted Minds finally getting something on the board.
Yeah, Twisted Mind's still a very, very good team at these straight up 5-5s. I think Cuffin in a bit of trouble here. Doesn't have mana left. Gonna be picked up a second time. And Curtizi finding a little bit of revenge in the mid lane. But that previous engagement, I think NIP Flash needed to back it off once they had lost Vanix. I don't know if there was a lack of communication because like you mentioned, Mirko, right? JPL should have seen the diversion. There was no reason for Vanix to rotate so aggressively there without his team opening up the map for him first. And then after that, once they'd lost their element of surprise, this composition is a little less effective at breaking through Troll and Sanji.
Yeah, I wonder if that was actually, if JPL actually saw that, right? Because it might actually have been literally in the edge of the vision pocket. Maybe it was still out of vision. Because yeah, it was definitely weird that Vanix, if they knew, the Vanix walked up like that. But let's leave it at that. I think NIP Flash might not have gotten that information. Maybe JPL was just not close enough. Sano though, very aggressive atomization, Sky Piercer. And a bit of a trivia right here for people out there, you know. If you guys are curious why and how JPL has been able to get these pickoffs and the instant executes over to whoever gets ejected is because of the extra physical defense shred that you get now. Hades forces Spear of Alpha defensively, gets stunned out again. That's Sonata the Rhapsody. Sano, that's the first stack of the Sky Piercer right as he buys it. JPL with the conceal gets cancelled out. That might have been the second stack, but it's given over to Hoda, who needs a bit more gold in the mid-game. And the lead at NIP Flash, built from the early game, is gone.
Yeah, NIP Flash needs to chill a little bit. They were doing an excellent job initially. Diversion comes out again. Looks like they're actually able to stop Cuffin and Hoda from going through as well. But NIP Flash, like you mentioned, has lost their entire early game advantage. They are trying to force fights deep in the enemy jungle, which is fine, but they have to remember that the reason they've been able to snowball so much is because JPL and Curtizi have been picking people off. If you're pushing yourself into enemy territory without first separating their number, we see what happens, right? Twisted Minds is very good at counter-engaging, especially when they're all rotating together. You gotta work with a little bit more information if you're gonna be playing that aggressively.
Sano, back to the mid lane. Goes in for the shove. Up top, it's a fight. Hades gonna be caught now. Look at Revitalize coming down from both though. SOD to the back finding it, but now Hoda gets out just barely. Sky Piercer from Curtizi to secure the double. Sanji versus 3 goes in front of pursuit over to Hades. That's a 3v1 that Sanji's currently actually doing well in. Sano kiting back Sanji. Lantern Flare on him, Curtizi. Caught in the bad spot, still able to escape, and somehow Diablo was able to save Hades in that team fight. He was literally 1 HP, and now he gets the turtle.
Of the Revitalize, there is a reason why this battle spell has been gaining so much pressure in the current meta. The ability to save people at the very end and even catch people off guard, right? It's because that healing is something you wouldn't typically expect. Diversion play, just to split off the bot lane. But I think by now, even our viewers are starting to get a sense of the dynamics between not just these lineups, but these two teams specifically. Twisted Mind wins the team fight if they're able to slow it down and play front to back with their full team around. While NIP Flash is going to win the fights if they're able to out-tempo their opponents and pick off 1 or 2 members before the full fight even begins. And in that previous situation, we saw Troll and Sanji maybe overcommit a little bit onto Hades. They would have gotten the kill if not for the Revitalize, so I don't blame them too much, but they do have to respect their opponent somewhat, right? Now that we are at this stage of the game, I honestly feel like the net worth lead NIP Flash has actually doesn't contribute all that much. It's actually still pretty even because we know how Granger can be once he actually has those stacks built up.
I agree, and that's exactly what Twisted Minds are doing right now. They're just giving all the waves over to Sano, making sure he gets enough room and enough resources to scale up to be that late game threat. And we can see the items here. 6.9k ahead of Vanix despite being 1,000 gold behind NIP Flash. He already has a Sky Piercer. He actually opted to go for the Hunter Strike and the Malefic Roar. So this is why you don't see a lot of the crazy burst that you see from the poke that we usually see from other Grangers. He's still building up to it. Now he's building up all the penetration. So once he does get, you know, maybe a BOD, some of the big chunky damage items, he'll start to hurt real bad. And you can already see he's on the way to it. That's a Legion Sword built up for both Suyo and Sano.
Double BOD timing is going to be a huge window for Twisted Minds because that is when you're going to start seeing heroes like the Jawhead and the Alpha fall off just slightly in terms of damage and pressure. The diversion for the flank, they will be scouted out here.
Good conceal. Hoda needs to time it perfectly, doesn't get the timing. Hoda chain CC, Spear of Alpha. That was perfectly done. Ejector to the stun of the Law and Order and the Spear of Alpha. Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there from Twisted Minds where we saw two members walk out and the rest wait for something to happen. But I think they made the right choice of just abandoning Hoda on the spot because I don't think that's a fight they're winning anymore.
Ejector again, Sanji gonna be caught, force to flicker out, Troll gonna be caught in the midst of it all as he pops in Revitalize. The SOD connected to back, Vanix going in, Coffin will fall! Vanix with a flicker! And he gets a double! Only Hoda left standing. That could have been a wipeout, but he respawns just in time. NIP Flash get everything they wanted.
Flashes of timing, windows of opportunity, flashes of brilliance. Scattered team fights are the Singaporean representatives' specialty. And Twisted Minds giving it over to them. A beautiful Spear of Destruction by Vanix to catch out the back line. Once the front had already been melted, there was no reason for Twisted Minds to be that far up when they had already lost Hoda earlier. A mistake in rotation, snowballing into a massive gap as NIP Flash have now built up a 5k net worth lead, and with the First Lord eager to open up the base of Twisted Minds.
I got to talk to Vanix the other day, you know, after getting the dub, I believe against, I forgot, the Moskov win. And he told me that the Moskov is just his comfort pick. So the fact that we are seeing him on the Moskov again, and the fact that it was kind of, you know, given to him, open to him, it's crazy, man. Vanix does incredible things on the Moskov. It's the safety of it in lane, just farming and then waiting for that one moment in the late game to go for a glorious pathway. Now, from Diablo, JPL's Conceal going to be cancelled out. Troll acting as a front line. Sano going in. Hades. Spear of Alpha over to Coffin. A bit of peel with the SOD and the Lancer Flare again. Double Spear of Misery. Hoda stunned together, and Kurt will just take all of these kills with the Sky Piercer. It's a double. NIP Flash Spear of Alpha from Hades. Now with the Winter Crown, they're looking to slowly but surely dissect Twisted Minds. That's going to be JPL with Ejector coming down as well. Sano still able to kite away, but NIP Flash will continue their run, and they will make it to the knockout stage of the M6 World Championship.
That means that Twisted Minds will have one final opportunity to make it into the knockout stage. Beautifully played by NIP Flash. Respect given all around to their opponents. They know how strong Twisted Minds can be in the mid to late game. They know how strong Granger can be with scaling. So they're simply not gonna allow them to reach that point in time. Ending the game before the 12-minute mark.